Good morning. Today's readings are very dramatic, and they're very relevant to us. They bring us face to face, each one of us, just like the Israelites at Shechem or the disciples at Capernaum. We are called to make a choice for God or a choice against God. And in theory, this would be a simple choice. Who would not choose God? But in practice, it is challenging. It is hard. Because going towards God, being with God, calls us into fidelity. Fidelity in each day, fidelity in each decision, in each action, to be one with God. In the first reading, we hear about Joshua assembling all the tribes of Israel in Shechem. Joshua is getting old, and for all these decades, God has led them, has fed them, has given them water, has made them be successful against all the enemies around them. But they're flirting in all the lands they go through, all these gods, all these different rituals. Keep flirting with other religions. So Joshua, but before he dies, wants to make sure, if it does not please you to serve the Lord, decide today whom you will serve. The gods that our fathers served across the river, or the gods of the country in which you are dwelling. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. It's a confrontation, and it teaches us several things. We either choose to serve the one true God, or we end up serving something else or someone else. We either serve our own egos, the God of money, the God of power, control, the power of hypersexuality identifications. This is the life of truth of Israel at the time, and it's unfortunately true today. So many allurements to draw us away, and we flirt with it. Either we worship the Lord, or we return to worshiping the golden calf. Animal worship, money worship, or Baal, the Middle Eastern god of sexuality, or nature in all its ways. Those are our gods. Those are more important. We're always serving something. And God is asking us, whom will you serve? And Joshua asks us to make a choice now and forever. And past choices aren't just enough. It's one thing for the Israelites to worship the Lord who did miracles to allow them to be freed from slavery in Egypt to Pharaoh. Worship him when they fed him with manna from the desert, heavenly bread coming down from heaven, water coming out of a rock, supporting their armies against all those around them, sustaining them for decades in the desert. But now things are getting hard. Again, those allurements. Look at over there. Look what they're doing. Will we be faithful? Decide today whom you will serve, now and forever. Just like a husband can't say to his wife, hey, I was faithful to you last year, but you're kind of challenging, and that's kind of interesting over here. So a follower of God needs to make his choices permanent, always faithful in the present and in the future. Fidelity. Make a choice. A choice for God is a choice against all other gods. Just like a bride chooses one man, she is in fact saying no to every other man forever. Fidelity. We see this in the gospel of Jesus when he talks about the reality of the Eucharist. And in the second reading, when Paul talks about the truth of Christian love and Christian marriage. In the gospel, Jesus presents to them a choice. Earlier in the gospel, just before this, he says, "You must eat my body, my flesh, and drink my blood. If you do not, you will not have life within you." And as we heard, this saying is hard. Who can choose this? Who can believe this? And we know many of them turned their back and walked away. It was hard. It was too hard. And they walked away. So he turns to his apostles and says, "Do you wish to also walk away?" Peter stands up and says, "To whom shall we go? You are the Christ. You have the words of eternal life." In fact, he knew that to turn away from Jesus, he had to turn towards something else. And what is that something else? Something weak. Something less. We have a choice. It's a choice we have to move towards Jesus or move away from Jesus, to have fidelity to the church or walk away. We all have a choice, but we need to make our choice. Stop flirting. Stop flirting. For we worship in this, not a memory of Jesus, but we worship a living Jesus, alive in our world, alive in the Eucharist, in the body and blood of Christ, which is presented to us at this altar at every Mass, present totally. And he offers himself for us to eat his body, his flesh, and his blood, so that we might have life within us. We might be nourished as family. No other place can you receive the body and blood of Christ alive and living. It's great love. He would not leave us orphans, and he has not. He is here. You must eat my flesh and drink my precious blood. Does this shock you? Jesus said, "Many of you do not believe." Today, the Lord places that same choice for us. Choose today whom you will serve. Choose the church or walk away. For Peter said, "To whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. You have the bread of life. To whom shall we go?" And so once again, decide today whom you will serve. The gods of this land in which we live, or the gods of our Father and your Father, and a Jesus who lives and reigns forever. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.